my name is Joanna Kakeo, aka Jokobacco. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For this video, we are going to be creating a character sheet. It's technically not from scratch because I made this character sheet a couple days ago. But anyway, this is supposed to go together with my super exciting announcement that I am being published. So I have the great news that my book was purchased by HMH, Houghton I hope I pronounced that properly. But that's right, I'm gonna be a published author. This is so exciting for me because one, I had a weird relationship with comics for a while and I stopped making them for so long. I'm just so excited to be on this journey and actually being a professional comic creator and writer. So this character sheet is this character sheet is for one of my secondary characters named Seb, short for Sebastian, but I don't think I mentioned that anywhere in the comic. But he is our secondary character. This story is called The Secret of the Ravens. I'm very excited. It's been officially announced all over my social media, but I'm now officially saying it on my YouTube channel, and I'm just so excited. So this is Seb. We are doing the detailed sketch right now. For character sheets tend to be pretty detailed for animation studios, for example, or if you're working with other people. But because this character sheet is for myself, it's pretty simplified. I just wanted to have a character sheet that showcases his outfit and a couple of his expressions. So for character sheets that are purely for me, I like to do a couple expressions, specifically happy, mad, and neutral, just so that I can kind of see the range of his expressions in different angles and whatnot, especially if his head is like tilted upward. But here quickly you can see that I'm trying to figure out his outfit design, and I struggled a little bit with Seb because I want this comic to be pretty heavily influenced by Filipino culture. I am a Canadian Filipino, and I'm so excited to say that this fantasy magic graphic novel for middle grade readers is heavily inspired by Filipino culture, and therefore I did a lot of research with the traditional clothes and some architecture things and other traditions that Filipino culture has. Growing up, I feel that I didn't have too much influence over Filipino culture. My parents raised us, me and my three sisters, very Canadian, and therefore I actually technically mispronounced my last name, but I was raised to pronounce it as Kakeo. It's technically cacao, but it's just what I'm used to. But we are getting into the line work for this. So I actually made the previous character sheet that I made a couple days ago. It was after our holiday break. I'm currently recording this early January, and I felt that my style was stunted, I guess. I was like a warm-up, really, and I felt that my style wasn't really coming through properly, and I really didn't like the direction that I was taking Seb in those character sheets, so I felt that I needed to redo them completely. And because originally The Secret of the Ravens was pitched as a YA, which is young adult, they were actually older in the initial designs. As you can see here in the reference window in Procreate, this is the commander in Seb, but they're older here. So by changing it to middle grade, I had to age down a lot of the primary characters, and Seb was one of them. So they are more aged down to fit a more middle grade audience. I'm not sure if this is the final characters design, but if you wait for my book to come out in a couple of years, you will see where his design will be taken fully. The publishing world is very specific, and mainly so that they can take care of their creators. So my book isn't coming out for a couple of years, and unfortunately you won't be able to read it next month, but it's gonna take a couple of years because I actually have to work on the story and draw them myself. And publishers thankfully don't rush that process. They want to make sure that you have the correct timeline and schedule so that you don't overwork yourself, and that's why it's going to take a while. But I'm definitely excited to see my name on bookstore shelves. I'm just so excited to have the bragging rights to be able to go into a bookstore and like point out my name. here I'm just doing the reference shots for his outfit. His outfit is very heavily inspired by barongs, which are usually worn as formal wear in the Philippines. They're usually created with a very nice breathable material. My dad actually has one that he purchased a couple years ago because his old one is getting a little wear and tear. But it's definitely inspired by that, and they tend to be very loose. They're never tucked in because of the humid weather in the Philippines, but it's definitely inspired by that. And a lot of even older, because barongs tend to be not necessarily modern, but more modern than the very traditional Filipino clothes. So I kind of mixed the two together, and I added more patterns that you'll see later on when we get into coloring. And I like to stay away from too much detail in a character design, especially for comics, because I have to redraw these characters over and over and over again with panels. But I just felt like that it was absolutely needed for Seb's character design specifically, and I'm actually pretty excited. It's not too difficult of a design. Just has more detail than what I am personally used to. And also you can see here, I got a little lazy and I decided that I didn't need to draw Seb's facial features for the outfit references. Because I already did like a close-up view of his front view and his side views. I felt that it wasn't really needed for the outfit reference, so I just left that out as if they were bald mannequins. And now we're just like plotting in the base colors, and then I realized that the proportions were a little weird with head to shoulder, so I ended up editing that. Sometimes you don't notice your mistakes until you're getting into the coloring and you're like, wait a minute. So it's always good habit to take a step back and like zoom out of your illustrations, because sometimes you don't notice those until later. But right now I'm just coloring in some of the outline. Embroidery is very popular in Filipino fashion. We like to embroider like everything. It's so beautifully, painstakingly done. I know for like we have 18th birthdays called debuts, which is similar to sweet 16s or quinceañeras. And for like debuts, I know that my mom, for my oldest sisters, I know that I'm pretty sure, or maybe it was a wedding, but when I was younger, my mom would like hand embroider certain items of our outfits, and they're really well done. I wish I knew how to do it. But oh, here we're getting into the details. I was trying to figure out what pattern exactly I was looking for. I went for see how I just ended up using lines. This allows for a very easy pattern to have to constantly redraw, and then I just did little peaks, and then I pushed even more patterns in because I felt like it wasn't enough. So that's what that is. I was also trying to figure out a good color palette that wasn't too much, and I wanted pretty limited so that it doesn't take away from the rest of the world. And yeah, so that's where that thought process comes from. Lovely Me decided to give Seb the most difficult hair to draw in different angles. His little hair swoop, whatever you want to call it, is it's actually quite a little annoying to draw in different angles, but I think I did them well. I'll definitely get used to it once I start drawing the comic. Again, I'm so excited for you guys to actually meet the characters and everything. It is a fantasy story. There are ravens, obviously, because the story is called The Secret of the Ravens, and I'm seriously so excited to share these characters with you. So here's the character sheet in all of its glory. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please like and subscribe and all that jazz. As always, thank you to my patrons for supporting my videos. If you'd like a 1-week early access to all my videos, or even behind the scenes artworks or news, please consider joining my Patreon. Thanks for watching, see you next time, bye!